Hello, my name is Brigham Cluff. I am an attorney with the law firm of Cluff & Cluff. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about analyzing how much your case is worth. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching a Diamondbacks game with my son, my 8-year-old son. He's a huge Diamondbacks fan. I'm a Diamondbacks fan too. And Diamondbacks are just having a terrible year this year. It was a lost cause almost from the beginning of the season. But we still really like watching the Diamondbacks, and so we were tuning into this game. And there was a handful of bright spots this season. But really, there was one bright spot that was brighter than any of the others. And that was the outstanding play of our superstar first baseman and all-around good guy, Paul Goldschmidt. We love Goldie in our house, and my son is just a huge fan of Goldie. He wears his jersey around, and we're watching the game the other night, and Goldie is up to bat, and he had actually gotten the night off up until the 9th inning, and they brought him in to pinch hit in the 9th inning. And he comes up to the plate, and I think they were playing the Pittsburgh Pirates, and a pitch comes up and in and hits Goldie in the left hand, and he leaves the game, and we find out afterwards, a broken left hand, he's gone for the entire season. That was heartbreaking. My son was so disappointed, not going to be able to watch Goldie for the rest of this season. And I thought, I broke my left hand once. I was 16 years old when I broke my left hand. And I broke it in an accident. I was driving down a dark country desert highway in the middle of the night, and there was some farm equipment that was left out on this highway. It was actually being pulled by a trailer with no lights or reflectors, this hay baler. And I ran my car into the back of that and had several passengers in the car with me. We were lucky we weren't all killed. Really, I was the only person that had any significant injury from the accident. I broke my left hand, I assume, on the steering wheel, although I don't really remember much of the accident. But I thought, okay, this is an interesting comparison here. My broken left hand as a 16-year-old compared to the broken left hand of Paul Goldschmidt, superstar first baseman for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So very similar injuries in those cases. What are those injuries worth? Well, in my case, as a 16-year-old, I did nothing about my broken left hand except have it x-rayed, and the doctor said, yeah, it's broken. And there was no treatment, no physical therapy, nothing. It hurt for a while, and eventually it stopped hurting. And I assume that later on the broken bone mended, although I don't know. I haven't had it x-rayed since then. I compare that to Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt, I'm sure, had that hand x-rayed, and then they probably did an MRI on it to make sure there was no soft tissue damage in the area, and then they probably did further x-rays and further MRIs, and they're probably taking a look at that hand all the time, and they're doing physical therapy for that hand, and he's getting massage treatment for that hand, and just everything you can imagine, I'm sure, is being done to mend that hand and to bring it back to full health, or as close to full health as can be, as soon as possible. No expense is being spared in taking care of Goldie's hand. At least I hope that's what's happening, because I want to see Goldie back as soon as possible. Well, when you're a plaintiff in a personal injury case, it is important that you treat your injury with as much diligence as you possibly can. I realize that there's limited amounts of time and there's limited amounts of money to get all the treatment sometimes that you would want to get. But it's very important that it be done. It makes a huge difference on the value of your case. And more importantly, it makes a huge difference in how good of a recovery you're going to get from that injury. And so I always want my clients to make sure that they are attending to whatever their injuries are as diligently as they possibly can. Now, in my case, I was a 16-year-old kid when I broke my hand. I can't even remember if this was if it happened during school or in the summer when I was working a summer job. But in any case, my lost wages were not very significant because $6.50 an hour or whatever it was I was making, I didn't miss a lot of time in any kind of activity. Paul Goldschmidt, on the other hand, he's making millions of dollars a year playing first base. Now, I'm not saying that Paul Goldschmidt has a tort claim against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The point that I want to illustrate here is that even though you can have a very similar injury from one case to another, your damages evaluation can be drastically different. Part of that is due to who is the injury victim. Is it Paul Goldschmidt or is it me as a 16-year-old kid? But another big part of that is how those injuries get treated. They need to be diagnosed with great diligence. They need to be treated with great diligence. As I mentioned earlier, that's going to be the best for the outcome of your injury, and it's also going to be much better for your case.